that black people here in the American continents, the Americas, black people on the African continents, black people on the European continent, and so forth. You know? And that's the difference between us. We're all black but different. We have our differences. But I remember when I was watching Bobby Hemmett, and they said America is the great mixing bowl of all the different black people from all over the world. And they're all centered around here in the Americas now. What's up, everybody? How is all doing? Hope all is well. And if not, don't get back on track sooner or later, so you can add to your thing. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have a real vibe real quick with the whole situation. See how Anton Daniels, Corey got into the fight? I mean, the argument. Anton said, let's go to the back like they were 15-year-old kids, like they're teenagers. You know what I'm saying? Anton, they said they are rage baiting, but Anton stood his ground, whatnot, calling out Corey on his own show. Corey's trying to have a dialogue. Doesn't make any sense, right? But you got to understand, these are both rich guys and they have their own money. So they're able to say whatever they want with no regards, no regrets. So Anton felt like he was calling out Corey. Corey standing up for the people like he always does. And Anton have a problem with the people. Clearly, because from the choice of words that he said to Corey, and you know Corey is our champion. Corey speaks his mind. So while Anton is bigging up his chest and doing his thing, paying for his protection, Corey's the man of the people. So you tell me what's going on here. But that shows a difference. You know, both black men, but difference in how they vibe and how they think and how they look at things. You know, Corey vibing with his people. Love every week, mad fun. Anton paying for protection with whatever, doing what he do, but he's making his paper though. And he's living in the blackest city in America, Detroit, right? And he always paid for security around him, you know what I mean? But I'm not even gonna get into all of that talk right now. What I want to talk about, you see the title of this? The difference between us. You know? Because coming to America, you get to understand about being black. Now me personally, my growth, I started in Jamaica. I call it Yard. So whenever I say Yard, I'm referring to Jamaica, right? I knew about black. So when I was growing up in Yard, all I knew was black. Come to America, know what's black. Now come to find out, Africans say when they come to America, that's the first time they know about black. They call themselves their country. Nigerian, Botswanian, Ethiopian. Now, the England, Europe, do they call themselves black? What do they call themselves in Europe? I don't know. But there's black people in there, best believe. And I'm not talking about the Caribbean people that went up there. There's black people that originated from Europe. You heard? Now, according to my research, this is a lifelong research of thoughts, looking at movies, looking at books, reading and understanding. Black people are aboriginal of the earth, four corners. Means all the continents were originated by these aboriginal people that lived there, survived there, and lived their lives and grew. Now, other people became on earth and also started mixing in, right? But still, guess what? There were still black Europeans, there's still black Africans, and guess what? There were black Americans, you know? So while the rest of the other human beings started mixing and everybody started traveling, these core aboriginal people were in the midst of their land, their core land. So black people has actions everywhere and lived everywhere and developed themselves and became themselves. So now they have Africans that live their land in those different countries in the African continent. Because in modern day talk, it's the continent, right, of Africa, and many countries, 54 countries, I believe, and everyone live there and represent themselves. Now, Europe is the same thing with different countries, but Europe is also mixed up with a lot of different other human beings and beings in general, right? Now, come to the Americas. The Aboriginal people was all throughout the Americas and the Caribbean islands. Before all of that Columbus talk and all of the discovery talk and humans travel and all of that, Aboriginal people lived north of Canada all the way down to the south continent and the Caribbean islands, because I'm originated from the Caribbean islands. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we went until the colonization, the history that went on along with nowadays time to lead things the way it's set up, the way things are. But regardless of everything that went on forth, we still got black people everywhere. It's just that black people here in the American continents, the Americas, black people on the African continents, black people on the European continent, and so forth. You know? And that's the difference between us. We're all black but different. We have our differences. So now, gathering here in the Americas, the Africans come to the Americas. The European Africans come to the Americas as themselves represent their country, don't understand the black people here in the Americas. You know, because of the confusion that's been put out there. The European black people same thing. And that makes the difference, you know. But I remember when I was watching Bobby Hemmett, and they said America is the great mixing bowl of all the different black people from all over the world. And they're all centered around here in the Americas now. So you gotta think about that for a second. But regardless to say, the difference is everyone is from a different place, and that's why they're so different. Black Americans is different from black Africans. Black Africans is different from black Europeans. And Europeans is different from black Americans. Everyone is different, you know what I'm saying? Everyone is themselves. But all the propaganda going on, you got to see the difference and the separatists. But at the same time, though, in the core heart, we all got love in our hearts because we're all good peoples. I just see how people move around in these times. We're all good people. With a lot of propaganda in the world, a lot of propaganda on black people in general, on the dark skin pigmentation of the human being, the human race, right? A lot of propaganda goes on, but that's not true when individually we're looking at these BSs and know that we got love in our hearts as good people. It's just that we're separated with the lack of understanding. And that's why I'm holding the vibe and I'm talking about the differences between us. The difference is nothing. Everybody culturally grew themselves up. Like, if you were growing up together, then yeah, we'll grow up together. But because we're growing up apart, the world is such a big place, you know? But we have to understand the history. You know? And I can go so far down as I got to. If you want to go, we can go. Because I'm a Yard man, and I was born and raised in Jamaica. But, you know, doing the research, since I grew up here in the States, in Connecticut, I'm looking at the history, right? There were a set of Taíno Indians, and they're from the mainland of the Americas. I'm not sure if they were like in the Florida areas or the Mexico areas, but they were somewhere in the mainland areas. And guess what? They branched off into the Caribbean as well. Now, they say those Indians transformed themselves into the Arawakan Indians. Now, the Arawak Indians, I know as the Yard Indians, this, according to the history, they're the Aboriginal people of the land of Jamaica, the Arawak Indians. They lived there and grew there and developed there, and until the other settlers came in and so forth with the history that we got now. That's the roots I'm coming from my understanding, because that's where I come from. You know? Just like the FBA, understand that they're rooted here in the Americas. History's a thing, and to understand it, then you can see what I'm talking about. So that's the difference between us. Understand that. And it's all love though, because you love yourself, we love ourselves, we're doing our thing, we're living. And guess what though? At the end of the day, we're all busy surviving, making the best of what we have. We're all having our experiences in these different parts of the world, different continent of the world. You know? General Stars, CLP, holding the vibe. But that's the difference between us. You know what I mean?